Hi, Pete Callard here for Six String Alliance, and this time we're going to be looking at 5 great fusion licks. Before we start, just a quick reminder, you can download the tab for all of these licks for free. Just click on the link in the description down below. So lick 1 comes from Wayne Krantz and is over a D over E chord. So as I mentioned, this Wayne Krantz lick is over a D over E chord, which is basically a D, top part of a D major chord, so D major triad, with an E in the bass. Hence the name D over E. And we can also see this as being an E9 sus chord. It's basically a dominant 7th chord, a dominant 7th sus chord. We generally sort of think of this as. And over this chord, Wayne Krantz starts down here on the note E, on the 2nd fret of the D string. Moves up to the F sharp, then to the A, 2nd fret on the G string, then the B and the C, then the C sharp, then the E on the 2nd fret and 5th fret on the top E string. Then moves to the F sharp and the A on the top E string. Now all these notes come from F sharp minor pentatonic, apart from the C, which is the flat 5. So we could see this as all being basically the blues scale, F sharp minor blues scale. He's literally running straight up it, just with a bit of phrasing. And incidentally, this line, it starts on the final 16th of the first beat. So you get 1 and. So this F sharp minor idea, as we said, D over E, it's kind of an E dominant 7th, E dominant 7th sus thing. So he's basically moving up a whole step and playing the F sharp minor pentatonic scale over the E 7th chord. He follows this by moving up to B, then A on the top E string here in the 7th and 5th frets. Again, this is all F sharp minor pentatonic, but shape 2 this time. And pulls off to this G sharp. Then comes down to E on the B string, 5th fret. Then C sharp to B on the G string, 6th and 4th frets. Then moves to the F sharp here in the 7th fret on the B string. Slides up to the G sharp and ends here on the E on the B string. And where these notes come from, we could see, like initially, you could see it as being a C sharp minor 7 arpeggio. But then given as he then moves to the F sharp, it's probably more likely that he's thinking C sharp minor pentatonic. This would be shape 4 of C sharp minor pentatonic and sliding up to shape 5 for that G sharp. So the C sharp minor pentatonic scale, again, we can see if we're seeing this as an E dominant 7th chord, basically, that would be the relative minor of E major. So this whole lick, although it sounds quite fusiony, is just 2 pentatonic ideas, just F sharp minor pentatonic and C sharp minor pentatonic. But again, so much of the vibe of this comes from the phrasing. Which, being Wayne Krantz, is sublime. And also, if you want to get really sort of Wayne Kranzy in the way you play it, mute it a little bit. To get that real sort of rhythmic vibe to it. So let's try this slowly. Here we go. 3 and 4 and 1 and. And let's try it back up to speed. Our second lick is from Frank Gambale and is again over the D over E chord. So as I mentioned, this Frank Gambale line is over D over E again, so the same chord as we played the Wayne Krantz idea over. But this time, Frank Gambale's right up here on the 12th fret, so playing around, you could see it as kind of being around E minor pentatonic shape 1. And he starts here on the D string, 12th fret, and jumps over a string to the B on the B string, 12th fret. It's a nice little 6th interval. Then moves up to C sharp, then D. So that C sharp, you could see that as coming from Dorian, E Dorian, or you could see it as from E Mixolydian. But then he goes into a really nice chromatic idea, long kind of chromatic idea. What he's doing is he's going from the D, in the 15th fret, down to the C, then doing the same idea but down a half step from the C sharp to the B. Then going from the C back to the B. Then down to the B flat here on the 15th fret and the G string. Going straight down to the G, straight down chromatically. So you could see this is all chromatic, but you could also see this as being effectively E minor blues scale. Just filling in that G sharp. Or you could even see it as him going to the major third. G sharp, then the minor third, depending how you want to look at it. Then goes down to the D, then moves up to the F sharp, here on the 11th fret, on the G string, then comes down to the E, then the D on the D string, the A on the A string, then the F sharp, here on the bottom string on the 14th fret, and back up to the G sharp, here on the 11th fret on the A string. And these notes, for me, it sounds like he's playing around D major. He's kind of outlining D major. All these notes are basically a D major triad. He's just throwing the E in. It's the 9th from the D leading mode. Then going back to the G sharp. So basically what he's doing is he's outlining one of the two chords we're playing over. We said we're playing over a D major chord, but with an E in the bass. So although it's kind of an E7 sound, he's actually outlining the D major aspect of this. Then go back to the G sharp, which is the major third of the E7 kind of chord. So you get that nice D, E sound. It's a cool idea. So let's put all of this together slowly. 3 and 4 and 1. Let's now play it back up to speed. Our next lick comes from Mike Stern and is over an E minor 11th chord. This Mike Stern lick, as I said, is over E minor 11. And again, we're back in the same place around shape 1 of the minor pentatonic scale. Here in the 12th fret. Mike Stern starts rhythmically on the last 16th of the second beat. So a little anticipation thing which he ties across. You get this 1 and 2 and. And following this, he goes down to the A, then the G, then the F sharp, then the A, back to the F sharp, then to G. These notes, you can see them, we mentioned E minor pentatonic. It's primarily E minor pentatonic, but the F sharp's coming from, see, it's E Dorian or E minor scale. Then the fun starts, because he moves up a half step. Basically goes up to F minor pentatonic, and then just goes straight up and down. From the G to the B string and back down again. So we have A flat, B flat, C, E flat, then back to C, B flat, and A flat. Then he does exactly the same idea down a whole step. So this we could see as being E flat minor pentatonic. Then moves up a half step back to E minor pentatonic and does the same thing again, but this time anticipating, starting 16th note earlier. Then just finishes off by going to the E and the D, here on the D string. So we get this sound. 1, 2. So with this lick, Mike Stern's demonstrating a simple but very effective approach to playing outside. Basically, he's taking a simple idea from the pentatonic scale and he's just moving up a half step and then down a half step from the original place. It's basically one of the easiest ways to get an outside sound. Start with something that's inside and then just move it up or down a half step. As long as you phrase it well and resolve it well, it'll sound great. And this is what he's doing. He's just moving the same idea up a half step, then down a half step from the original thing, then coming back. It's a simple idea, but very effective. So let's try this slowly. 1 and 2 and. And now let's hear that back up to tempo. Lick number 4 comes from Larry Carlton. It's over a D major 7th chord. So as I mentioned, this Larry Carlton line is over a D major 7th chord, and you might be thinking, hang on a second, all the other examples are in E, so why is this in D? Well, I chose this really because although we've been doing kind of E minor and D over E chords, D over E you can also see as being D major 7 over E, a D Lydian kind of thing. So actually playing this as a D Lydian idea fits very neatly into the same kind of harmony which we've been using for the other chords, because this line will work over a D over E chord just as well as it works over a D major 7th chord. So for this line, Larry Carlton starts up here on the 14th fret, and there's loads of chromaticism in this. It basically goes from C sharp up to E chromatically. And again, rhythmically, this starts in the same place as the previous lick. So it's on the final 16th of the second beat. So we get 1 and 2 and it's tied over again. Then he follows this by going down to the A, here on the 14th fret on the G string, then to the B, then moving up chromatically from the B to the C sharp, here on the 14th fret again. Then moves down to the F sharp, here on the 16th fret on the D string, moves up chromatically to the A. So this is the same idea basically as the first thing we played, but just starting on the F sharp and, shifting across two strings. Then he follows this by going down to the D on the 17th fret on the D string, moving up to the E on the 14th fret on the D string, and then chromatically up to the F sharp. Then goes back down chromatically to the E, and down to the C sharp, here on the 14th fret on the A string, then down to the B, then back up to the C sharp, then to the E, and back to the C sharp. So let's talk about where these notes are coming from. Larry Carlton's basically playing around a D major 9 arpeggio, which is the notes D, F sharp, A, C sharp, and E. And what he's doing is he's starting on each chord tone and then moving largely chromatically up to the next chord tone. So he's starting on the major 7th, the C sharp, and moving up chromatically to the 9th. Then he moves down to the 5th and then moves up from the 5th to the 7th. And again, moving up 4 notes, but this time he's skipping up a second, then moving up chromatically because we have more notes to get through. It's a major third from the A to the C sharp, whereas from the C sharp to the E is a minor third, so you can do it all chromatically. And he goes down to the F sharp, which is the major third in D, and again, that's a minor third from that F sharp up to the A, the 5th, so you can do all of that chromatically. Then finally goes from the root, the D, up to the major third, the F sharp, which, as the name suggests, is a major third interval, so moving up a whole step and then chromatically. So to say, it's all based around this D major 9 arpeggio, but it's a really interesting idea, really nice kind of chromatic way around it. If you like it, try in different places on the neck. Very effective. It's a cool sound. It's a really cool idea. Then he follows that, moving back down chromatically to that E. Then these final notes, we could see them as coming from, we could see them as being a C sharp minor 7 arpeggio or C sharp minor pentatonic. You could even see it as F sharp minor pentatonic. But given as we've gone from a D major 7th chord, C sharp minor pentatonic is probably most likely what he's thinking. So let's put all of this together slowly. 1 and 2 and... It's a lovely idea. And let's play this back up to tempo. Our final idea comes from the great Scott Henderson and is over an E minor 7 chord. So for this Scott Henderson idea, it's over an E minor 7th chord again. We're up here on the 12th fret around shape 1 of the pentatonic scale. But he actually starts on this B flat down here in the 11th fret on the B string. It's kind of out and then slides up to the B. So we could see that as being the blues scale. That'd be the flat 5, sliding up to the 5th. Then he follows this with a really nice chromatic idea. Not a million miles away from some of the ideas that Frank Gambale was playing in his line. And for this, we're starting on this B flat, and we're coming down to this G, moving down chromatically. But with each note, we're pulling off to that G, so we get this. So basically B flat to G, A to G, then A flat or G sharp to G. Then he follows that by going from the E down to the D. So again, it's a chromatic idea, but it's based around, I would suggest, the E minor blues scale. And again, we're back in shuffle feel, like the Wayne Krantz idea. And he follows this by bending from G up to A on the G string. Then goes to the A. We're kind of shifting down to shape 5 of the pentatonic scale. And going from this A up to the B flat and then back to the A again. So again, it's kind of E minor blues scale. Then from G down to E, G, F sharp, E. So E Dorian, we can see that's coming from E minor. Then he slides down a half step to this D sharp. Quite an out note over the E minor 7. This is the major 7th over an E minor 7. Then follows it with the notes G on the 10th fret on the A string, then B on the 9th fret on the D string, then D here on the 7th fret on the G string. So he's resolving it nicely with, we could see this as being an E minor 7th arpeggio. You could also see it as being a G major arpeggio. But given as it's over an E minor 7th chord, I think the E minor 7 arpeggio makes more sense. It's great because you've got this outside sound as he lands on that major 7th, but then returns to E minor 7th, finishing up on the D. So you get a little bit of spice in there before it resolves really nicely, really sweetly back to E minor 7. Classic Scott Henderson, sort of jazz ideas, there's outside stuff in there, chromaticism, but with a real blues edge to it as well. Incidentally, this starts out, there's a little pickup on the final 16th of the preceding bar. So you get this 3 and 4 and. So let's try this slowly. 3 and 4 and. And let's play this back up to speed again. As I mentioned before, just click on the link in the description down below for free tab for all of these licks. That's all from me for now, but I'll be back soon with more videos.